Chapter 2. The Ghost Ship. The horizon is ablaze with the hues of dawn as the Wanderer sails through waters still frothing from the battle with the Leviathan. James and Alice stand side by side at the helm, both quiet, their minds replaying the monstrous encounter. The sea seems to be deceptively peaceful now, though the air still tingles with the memory of the creature's presence.
Do you think it's gone for good?
Alice asks, her voice laced with both uncertainty and a hint of awe.
I don't know.
James replies, his gaze locked onto the distant line of the ocean, eyes narrowed against the morning light.
But if that thing's as ancient as the stories say, it could be anywhere by now, and if it wanted to, it would have already eaten us.
A shudder runs through Alice
I don't like the sound of that.
and makes her way back up to the crow's nest. After some time, Alice breaks the silence from above.
Ship approaching!
James squints, but there's nothing in sight. No sails, no sign of another vessel.
Where?
Over there!
Alice points towards the horizon, where a strange black smudge begins to take shape. At first, it seems like a storm, but as the shape grows closer, a darker, more menacing truth becomes clear. It's not a storm. It is, in fact, another ship. A ship that shouldn't be here. The mysterious ship drifts closer, its sails tattered, the hull weathered beyond reason. It's as though it has been adrift for years, yet no markings to identify it, no crew. Just a heavy, oppressive silence hanging in the air as it floats along.
That's not normal.
Alice mutters to herself, then slides down out of the crow's nest, hiding behind James, who's gripping the wheel tighter now. James nods grimly, his eyes narrowing.
Not at all. Stand your ground.
As the Wanderer draws alongside the ghostly ship, Alice's breath catches in her throat. The vessel's name is barely visible on its side. The Storm's Curse. Before they can make sense of what they're seeing, a voice rings out, unnaturally clear across the water.
Turn back, or join us.
James spins round, searching for the source. There's nothing there, just the eerie stillness of the water.
Who said that?
Alice asks, her voice barely above a whisper.
Doesn't matter.
James mutters, grabbing his sword from his side.
We've come this far. We're not turning back now.
The two of them board the eerie ship, cautiously stepping across the rotting planks, the wood strangely firm beneath their feet despite the ship's apparent age. The air smells of salt and decay, but the oppressive feeling of being watched is even stronger here.
Where is everyone?
Alice asks, trembling, her eyes scanning the empty deck.
I don't know,
James replies.
but I don't like this.
As they move deeper into the ship, the air grows colder. A sudden shudder runs through the ship's timbers as if a storm had suddenly struck. But there's no wind, no rain, just silence, and that unnerving feeling that they're not alone.
James? Do you see that?
Alice shakily points to the far end of the deck, where a figure appears to materialize out of the shadows of the wall. A man, tall and gaunt, dressed in tattered captain's attire, his eyes glowing in a natural blue. The man's voice is low and garbled, as water flows from his mouth as he speaks.
I was once like you, brave, adventurous, but now I am nothing, lost to the endless depths.
Who are you?
James demands, stepping forward.
What happened to you?
The man smiles, but it's a twisted, hollow thing.
We made a pact, my crew and I. We sought treasures beyond imagining, but we awoke something in the deep, something worse than the Leviathan and its kin, something far worse. Now, we are cursed to sail forever through the endless seas, seeking the thing we cannot destroy, our old lives, a distant memory, and our names and titles, now meaningless.
Before either of them can respond, a low rumbling growl echoes from below the deck. The man cackles, laughing as the ship creaks, and suddenly dark tendrils begin to emerge from the shadows, lashing towards them. James readies his sword just as a massive writhing shadow emerges from the ship's hold. Another sea beast, but this one is different, larger, more terrifying. Its body black as night, and its eyes burn with the same unnatural blue as the captain's.
What on earth is that foul beast?
Alice gasps.
Not a leviathan.
James mutters, his sword raised in defense.
It's something worse. It's a kraken. We need to get off this ship now.
The tendrils lunge at them, its jaw snapping. The ship shakes violently as the tendrils continue to writhe, trying to pull them under. Alice grabs James's arm, pulling him toward the side of the ship.
We can't fight this. We have to leave.
They dive into the ocean, the cold water swallowing them whole as they swim back to the Wanderer. The sounds of the creature's roaring echo behind them. Breathing heavily, they finally reach the Wanderer, pulling themselves aboard with all their strength. Behind them, the ghost ship sinks into the depths, the last remnants of the creature's dark tendrils slipping into the ocean, the glow of its eyes disappearing beneath the waves. Alice gasps, trembling with the cold and fear. James shakes his head.
That was a close one. Did you see their eyes? I think the ship had an unfortunate run-in with that kraken before and escaped. That's why the captain was cursed. He was its prey.
Alice shudders and goes for a blanket to warm up. As they set sail, the ocean around them seems to whisper, but the feeling of something watching them lingers. The storm clouds begin to gather once again on the horizon, promising more danger, more secrets, and more creatures lurking in the deep.